تكاد السماوات يتفطرن منه وتنشق الأرض وتخر الجبال هدا.
Thank you for the lovely introduction. So in Islamic art and design this year, the students have been working on various projects. We've gone through square Kufic, geometry based on a grid. We've done some 3D modeling, painting, biomorphic forms. We've done everything. But I just also want to highlight that the students have done very well. Because I had to take like a maternity break and we had lots of substitute teachers, and I also like to say thank you to them for filling in all the times that I wasn't there. So I also want to add from what Yusuf said and what Ustaz Kazim said about hand, heart, and is it hand, heart, and head? So when I was in school, when I did my master's in traditional arts, one of our first teachers said the traditional arts is about the hand, the heart, and the head. So it's a good connection here with our waking and real world readiness. It's about putting everything together. So in the traditional arts, you might take a bit more time because you're preparing your heart and your hands for the process. So we'll go through the presentation and the first slide. Okay. So this is the level 3 program. They had to do a 3D model of a prayer room. And this is by Sarah Sheikh, and her design, mashallah, we did this for the whole of third term. So it took about 10 to 11 weeks to get here. And every element in this design was made by Sarah, apart from the carpet, but the couch, the bookshelf, the walls, everything. And they had to, and she also used recycled materials. She made everything. She found things that were in her home, just a cardboard, an old box, paper, felt, and she made the project. So for all of the students in level 3, they had to make a mood board, a plan, perspective drawings, and then do the model. And they also had quite a number of challenges, but because of the time we were able to put and dedicate to the project, they were able to overcome some of them and some they were not. So can we go to the next slide, please? And this is Riska's project. And okay, I'll just tell you a little bit about the project, which I should have. They were given a plan of a house, and they were asked to pick one of the rooms of the house to make a prayer room. But the family wanted a space that was where they could gather together to pray and just to contemplate. And so everybody picked a different space and had the reason why they wanted to pick the space. And they also had a mood board, which they used to kind of design the space. So for Riska's design, she wanted a lot of light into the space. And she focused a lot on bringing that light in by adding extra windows. And also with Riska, everything here she has done, she's recycled it. The carpet on the floor, she did an amazing job in introducing step patterns, which we had done last year in Islamic art. The bookshelves, she had bigger bookshelves and she decided to change it to smaller ones. She's done the curtains. And so this is not work that took one day. It took, some time. Next slide, please. And this is by Sidra, who's in Sharjah. She's also just following the same theme. And you can see from all three of them, everybody has gone with something slightly different in the mood they want to create in the space. So for Sidra's, she wanted something that was like earthy and warm and, that sense of coziness. So that's why she used green. And one of the challenges Sidra had was that she had this green color she had picked at first, but she didn't like it. And we're like, okay, let's do another color. And same with Sidra, she's made the couch herself, the carpet she bought, and the little elements like the baskets she bought, but the bookshelf she built herself. And you can see this is her 1 point perspective, and you can see how she's designed the bookshelves on the left. Yes. But when it came to her model, she decided, okay, I don't want to use that type of bookshelf. I want to do something else. And this is what architectural design is about. Like sometimes you plan something and then when you try to put it in 3 dimension, it's like, oh, it's not going to work. And then you try something else. And that's all from our level 3 students. So please give them a W. And then for our level 1 students, we went through several stages of this. So at the beginning of the year, we did some square Kofik, and then in the end of the year, I decided to bring it back, where we did square Kofik, and we were experimenting with egg tempera, which is a very old technique of painting where you use egg yolk and vinegar and pigments. So some of the students didn't used watercolors, which is also fine. So Ali's painting is inspired by Palestine, he said, and that's why he picked these colors. And yes, these are all original pieces. So if you want to put in a bid, the profits will go to the students and to stewards. So we'll start taking bids after the class. Yeah, starting from £1 maybe. Okay, next slide, please. And this is Mohammed Adios. Mohammed did like 2 versions of this, and he wrote Al-Ahad, and he used egg tempera and green earth. So it's a very interesting medium, but it's how people started painting. And can we go to the next slide? And this is by Zoha. She's also used egg tempera, and I think she used black and green earth. She used black charcoal, black and green earth. So I had a story about charcoal, but I probably shouldn't go into that. Okay. But you can make charcoal, for instance, like if you keep date seeds and then throw it into a barbecue and just crush it, you get charcoal black. But she's done a brilliant job balancing those colors. And also what I appreciate about this project was that students were able to look at square Kofik in different ways. Some wanted to be able to fit it into a square, some wanted to write it in a straight line, and some also played around with the negative and positive spaces. Can we go to the next slide, please? And this is by Issa Big. Issa's project is like really, mashallah, very bright, and he's balanced out the colors with the red and black. And he's one of the first ones to like say, okay, so I really want to make sure it fits in a square. And he kept on playing around with it and making sure that he could turn the letters round. Yeah, and he worked on his decorations, mashallah. So next slide, please. And this is by Shiloh. Shiloh did this on canvas. And even though Shiloh didn't have any eggs at home, we were able to find other ways to create a mordant. Now, a mordant is a medium that you use to make sure the pigments adhere or stick together. And so we came up with using milk, I believe, Shiloh, or yogurt. I think we used milk, and it did work. So sometimes art is about substitution and experimenting with what you have. And I don't know, next slide, please. And this is by Isa Adio, and he did not use milk. He used egg tempera, and he used red earth. I think this is English earth pigment. And yeah, alhamdulillah, it's quite square coffee. And I think that's all. Oh yeah, sorry. How can I say that all? And we have by Fatima, mashallah. Fatima did the first one on the left that is in green and black. And when we finished it last week, I encouraged her to like, okay, do another one and see how that goes. And mashallah, like the second one, it's all nice, very neatly done. And yeah, that's the thing with art or architecture. You try, sometimes it doesn't work out, and you try again, and sometimes you just get it. And I think I don't want to say that's the last one. Okay, and this is by Huda, who is also in Sharjah. This is the sketch of what Huda had done. She said, I don't have her final one, but then Huda has also tried to fit it Al-Hafiz inside a rectangle instead of just writing it in a straight line. So just encouraging their creativity and seeing how they can balance things out. And one thing about Huda's project is that she's kept to the rules of square cofixed, which is to keep the same distance and the same balance of negative and positive space. So everything is one by one. What I mean by that is like she has in between, she doesn't have like two large squares. I wish I could point to the slide, but I can't. But anyhow, it's a very balanced project. Thank you. And next slide, please.
للرحمن ولدا وما ينبغي للرحمن أن يتخذ ولدا إن كل من في السماوات والأرض إلا آتي الرحمن عبدا لقد أحصاهم وعدهم عدا